My decisions were my decisions, but the consequences are also mine. I miss Selena just like they do, but I know I'll see her again in heaven. I know I will.
For nearly 3 decades, Yolanda Saldívar's name has been synonymous with betrayal and tragedy. Convicted for the shocking murder of Latin music icon Selena Quintanilla in 1995, she has remained largely silent until now. At 63, Saldívar is finally speaking out, but can her words rewrite history? The loss of a legend. Selena Quintanilla was more than just a singer. She was a cultural phenomenon. With her powerful voice, infectious charisma, and trailblazing success in Tejano music, she captivated millions. She wasn't just breaking records, she was breaking barriers, paving the way for Latin artists worldwide. But on March 31, 1995, her meteoric rise came to a devastating halt. That morning, Selena met with Saldívar at a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi, Texas, to retrieve missing financial documents amid growing suspicions of embezzlement. What should have been a routine confrontation turned deadly. As Selena attempted to leave, Saldívar pulled a gun and shot her in the back. Despite her injuries, Selena managed to reach the lobby, naming her assailant before collapsing. She was rushed to the hospital but succumbed to blood loss. The world lost a bright star, and millions mourned the senseless act that took her away. From fan to betrayer. The most chilling aspect of this tragedy is the identity of the murderer, a woman who once claimed to be Selena's biggest fan. Saldívar had worked her way into Selena's inner circle, first as the president of her fan club, and later as the manager of her boutiques. She positioned herself as a loyal confidant, but behind the scenes, she was embezzling thousands of dollars. Concerns about Saldívar's actions had been mounting for months. Employees complained about her erratic behavior, and financial records exposed glaring discrepancies. When confronted, Saldívar denied wrongdoing, but the evidence was undeniable. Abraham Quintanilla, Selena's father, urged his daughter to sever all ties. However, Selena, ever compassionate, wanted to give her a chance to make things right. That fateful March morning, Selena met Saldívar one last time, hoping to recover the stolen documents. Instead, she walked into a trap. Saldívar, cornered and desperate, chose violence over accountability, pulling the trigger and robbing the world of an icon. Saldívar's claims, twisting the truth? Nearly 30 years after the tragic loss of Selena Quintanilla, Yolanda Saldívar has decided to break her silence. In a controversial new docu-series, she insists the shooting was an accident, not a deliberate act. Saldívar claims she has been unfairly portrayed as a cold-blooded killer, arguing that the world doesn't know the full story. But can she be trusted? For years, Saldívar was known for her dishonesty, stealing thousands from Selena's businesses. Now, she paints herself as a victim, suggesting that their relationship was deeper than anyone realized and that secrets about Selena's life have never been revealed. Is this a desperate attempt to rewrite history, or is there more to the story? Saldívar's motives are questionable, especially as her parole eligibility in 2025 looms. Many believe this documentary is a strategic move, an attempt to manipulate public perception. But no matter what she claims, the truth remains: Selena is gone, and Saldívar pulled the trigger. Backlash from fans and family. The reaction to Saldívar's docu-series has been swift and unforgiving. Selena's family has condemned the project, calling it an exploitation of Selena's memory. For them, Saldívar's words are nothing more than an attempt to dodge responsibility and regain sympathy. Fans are equally outraged. For them, Selena was more than a singer. She was an icon, a beacon of pride for the Latinx community. Social media is flooded with calls to boycott the series, refusing to give Saldívar a platform. Many believe that allowing her to speak now only dishonors Selena's legacy. The timing of the documentary fuels suspicions. Could it be a calculated attempt to sway the parole board? Critics argue that Saldívar is seeking redemption at the cost of distorting the truth. But the world remembers, Selena's life was stolen in an act of ultimate betrayal, and no amount of storytelling can change that. Selena Quintanilla. a legacy that never fades. Nearly 3 decades after her passing, Selena Quintanilla remains a towering figure in music, fashion, and culture. Her influence transcends generations, proving that true legends never fade. Selena broke barriers, bringing Tejano music to the mainstream and uniting fans across languages. Her fusion of cumbia, pop, and R&B created a sound uniquely hers, paving the way for Latin artists who followed. Songs like Bye Bye Bom Bom and Amor Prohibido still fill dance floors, and her posthumous album, Dreaming of You, shattered records, proving her star was only beginning to rise. Beyond music, Selena was a style icon. Her bold, glamorous fashion choices continue to inspire, from bedazzled bustiers to her unforgettable purple jumpsuit. She made Latinas feel seen, celebrated, and powerful in their identity. Her influence extended far beyond her lifetime. The 1997 film Selena, starring Jennifer Lopez, introduced new generations to her story, solidifying her place in pop culture. A Hollywood Walk of Fame star, a dedicated museum, and even a MAC Cosmetics line in her honor prove that Selena's presence is as strong as ever. Selena Quintanilla wasn't just a singer, she was a movement. She embodied hope, talent, and resilience, inspiring countless artists and fans worldwide. Though her life was tragically cut short, her legacy is eternal, proving that true icons never die. They live on in the hearts of those they touched. Inside the mind of Yolanda Saldívar, from admiration to obsession, Selena Quintanilla's legacy continues to shine as a symbol of talent, perseverance, and cultural pride. Yet, her tragic murder at the hands of Yolanda Saldívar remains one of the most haunting betrayals in music history. How does admiration turn into obsession? How does a devoted fan cross the line into darkness? Yolanda Saldívar's introduction into Selena's world appeared innocent at first. A registered nurse from San Antonio, she had a deep passion for Tejano music and idolized Selena. Her devotion led her to establish the official Selena fan club, a move that not only won her favor with Selena's father, Abraham Quintanilla, but also gave her increasing access to the star. At first, it seemed like a dream come true for Saldívar. She was no longer just a fan, she had become part of Selena's inner circle. Her role expanded when she was entrusted with managing Selena's boutiques, further entrenching her within the singer's professional and personal life. But beneath the surface, a dangerous fixation was brewing. Saldívar's behavior became increasingly possessive. She sought to isolate Selena from those closest to her, acting as a gatekeeper and creating tension between Selena and others. Staff members and even Selena's family voiced concerns, warning her about Saldívar's erratic and controlling nature. But Selena, ever kind-hearted and trusting, believed in her friend. As Selena's career soared, Saldívar's grip on her began to weaken. Selena was expanding her brand, reaching new heights, and connecting with more people, something Saldívar perceived as a threat. She feared being pushed aside, losing the influence she once held. Her desperation escalated to deception as she was caught embezzling money from Selena's boutiques and fan club. For Saldívar, it wasn't just about money, it was about control. By mishandling funds, she ensured that Selena remained reliant on her. But when the fraud came to light and Selena confronted her, the illusion of control shattered. Faced with losing everything, Saldívar's desperation took a sinister turn. On March 31, 1995, Selena arranged to meet Saldívar at a Corpus Christi motel to retrieve financial documents. What transpired next remains one of music history's greatest tragedies. In a moment of rage and fear, Saldívar pulled a gun and shot Selena in the back as she tried to flee. The young singer, full of promise and life, collapsed outside the motel, her final words naming her killer. The world lost a superstar that day, but her legacy was only beginning. Many who knew Selena had warned her about Saldívar's alarming behavior, but Selena's trusting nature prevented her from seeing the full extent of the danger. Could anything have been done differently? While hindsight makes it easy to point out red flags, the reality is that Selena believed in the good in people. Unfortunately, her kindness was exploited by someone who mistook obsession for love. As 2025 approaches, the possibility of Yolanda Saldívar's release on parole looms over the public like a dark cloud. The notion that she could be granted freedom after committing such a heinous crime is met with outrage from Selena's family, friends, and fans worldwide. Saldívar, now 63, has spent nearly 3 decades behind bars. But for many, that time is not nearly enough to atone for the life she stole. Her parole eligibility has ignited passionate debates. Should a murderer, whose actions ended a promising life and devastated an entire community, ever be allowed to walk free? The response has been overwhelmingly emotional. Fans, many of whom were children when Selena was killed, are now adults advocating for justice. Social media is ablaze with petitions, protests, and calls to ensure that Saldívar remains imprisoned for life. To them, justice means that Selena's killer never experiences freedom again. For Selena's family, the pain never faded. The mere thought of Saldívar living freely is a painful reminder of all they lost. How can someone responsible for such a senseless act be allowed another chance when Selena will never have hers? The dubious timing of Saldívar's docu-series, adding fuel to the controversy, is the release of a docu-series titled Selena and Yolanda: Secrets Between Us. The timing of the series, just before her parole hearing, raises serious concerns. Some see it as an attempt to sway public opinion and perhaps even the parole board, presenting Saldívar in a different light. The controversy surrounding Saldívar's parole is about more than just legal technicalities. It's about what justice looks like for a cultural icon whose life was cut short. Selena was more than just a singer. She was an inspiration, a beacon of hope, and a representation of dreams fulfilled. Her death left a void in the hearts of millions, and her impact is still felt today. To many, Saldívar's potential release feels like a dismissal of Selena's life and the magnitude of her murder. How can 30 years in prison ever equate to the loss of someone who had so much more to give? Justice, in the eyes of her fans, means that Saldívar remains behind bars for the rest of her life. Though Selena was taken far too soon, her influence remains timeless. Her music, her style, and her spirit continue to inspire new generations. Her family, fans, and the Latino community ensure that her legacy thrives, celebrating the joy she brought to the world rather than the tragedy that ended it. As the debate over Saldívar's fate unfolds, one thing remains certain: Selena's star will never fade. Her light shines on, immortalized in the hearts of those who loved her. And no amount of time served by her killer will ever change that. From mourning to anger, the unyielding love for Selena. When Selena Quintanilla was tragically taken from the world on March 31, 1995, it was not just her family who grieved, it was an entire community, an entire generation. Her death was a collective loss, one that resonated across continents, cultures, and generations. For millions, Selena wasn't just a singer. She was an icon, a beacon of hope, and a cultural trailblazer who shattered barriers in the music industry. The pain of her absence remains raw, and the mere mention of her name still evokes both admiration and heartbreak. In the immediate aftermath of her passing, grief spread like wildfire. Fans gathered in the streets, holding candlelight vigils, singing her songs, and weeping openly as if they had lost a member of their own family. Selena was more than an artist. She was a symbol of resilience, passion, and authenticity. Her music, her style, her infectious smile, everything about her radiated warmth and joy. Her death wasn't just tragic, it was incomprehensible. For years, Selena's devoted fans have kept her memory alive. Her music continues to soar on streaming platforms. Her face adorns murals, and her legacy is honored annually with tributes, concerts, and even fashion lines inspired by her iconic style. But while fans have held on to the light she left behind, recent events have ignited a different kind of fire within them: anger. With the upcoming release of the controversial docu-series Selena and Yolanda: Secrets Between Us, outrage has erupted across social media and beyond. Yolanda Saldívar, the woman who ended Selena's life, is now attempting to control the narrative, positioning herself as a misunderstood figure rather than a convicted murderer. This blatant attempt to rewrite history is nothing short of an insult to the millions who continue to mourn Selena's loss. The backlash has been swift and unrelenting. Fans have taken to social media in droves, condemning the series as a sham, a manipulative ploy designed to garner sympathy for Saldívar just as her parole hearing approaches in 2025. The idea that she is using Selena's name once again to gain attention and possibly freedom is beyond enraging. Many fans have vowed to boycott the series entirely, refusing to give Saldívar the platform she so desperately craves. The anger is not just about the docu-series, it's about ensuring that Selena's legacy remains untarnished. The world has not forgotten the details of that fateful day in 1995. We remember the motel room confrontation, Selena's desperate escape, and her final words identifying her killer. No amount of revisionist storytelling can erase the reality of what happened. Will Saldívar's story change anything? As the docu-series prepares to air, one question lingers. Does any of this even matter? Can a carefully crafted narrative truly reshape the world's perception of a tragedy so deeply embedded in our collective consciousness? For Saldívar, the stakes are high. With her parole hearing looming, this feels like a calculated move to sway public opinion. If she can present herself as a victim, misunderstood, and unfairly vilified, she might hope to gain sympathy from both viewers and the legal system. But can her words be trusted? After nearly 3 decades of silence, why now? The world saw her manipulation unfold in real time during her trial. She was not a woman who acted in a moment of passion. She was a woman consumed by obsession, jealousy, and control. To now claim that the shooting was an accident or that she has been unfairly portrayed is not just desperate, it is offensive. The world knows the truth. Selena was on the brink of even greater success, preparing to cross over into the mainstream music industry and become a global superstar. And Saldívar, knowing her grip on Selena was slipping, made a choice. A deliberate, irreversible choice that ended a brilliant life and left millions shattered. The upcoming series attempts to shift the focus onto Saldívar, but for Selena's fans, there is no question where the focus should remain. The pain of losing Selena is still fresh for many, and the idea that her killer is now trying to benefit from her name once again is unacceptable. The reaction has been clear. Selena's fans will not let this manipulation go unchallenged. The legacy Selena left behind. Selena's death was more than just the loss of a beloved singer. It was the loss of an entire future filled with limitless potential. She was more than a voice. She was an inspiration, a dreamer who paved the way for countless Latin artists. Her influence can still be felt in today's music, fashion, and culture. Selena represented the hopes and dreams of an entire generation, proving that with talent, passion, and heart, anything was possible. Her legacy is something that her fans have fiercely protected for nearly 3 decades, and they are not about to stop now. They refuse to let Saldívar distort the truth or attempt to rewrite history. Selena's story does not belong to her killer. It belongs to those who loved her, to those who continue to celebrate her, and to those who will ensure that her light never fades. This is not just about justice, it's about respect. It's about making sure that Selena Quintanilla Perez is remembered not for the tragedy that took her life, but for the brilliance that defined it. As long as her music plays, as long as fans wear her iconic purple outfits, as long as people dance to Bada Bada Bom Bom with pure joy, Selena's spirit will never die. Yolanda Saldívar may try to tell her side of the story, but the world already knows the truth. And no amount of carefully crafted narratives will ever change that. Selena's legacy remains untouchable. Her music, her spirit, and her impact will live on forever. What are your thoughts on this controversial revelation? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this and other trending stories.